All right. So, for those of you who were not here last week, and there are a few of you, I won't name names, but she even raised her hand. I will try to catch you up. Okay, so we kind of started this series last week where we are looking at what brought us to our spiritual path. You know, because it's not something that everybody chooses, right? What brought us, and what is our goal? What are we working towards? What are we moving towards? And can we move there a little more intentionally? And then we looked at characteristics of people who have experienced a spiritual awakening, a profound spiritual awakening. And I was referring to this book called The Finders by Dr. Jeffrey Martin. And you know, we looked at the list and we thought, you know, it's not really complete. It's not complete. So I asked you to help share some things that you have experienced in your spiritual growth and what you are looking forward to experiencing. And we came up with this really robust list that is now on our website, on our blog. So if you go to the blog, it's there. And I invite you to look, those of you who haven't, or take another look and add to it. Add your ideas to that. Let's keep that list going. It's really good to kind of, you know, check in on. And so then I also introduced this concept of how we can move from being a spiritual seeker to a spiritual finder. And one of the ways that we said that we could do that is by nurturing our fundamental well-being. That's what he calls it in the book. Fundamental well-being. That's that essential well-being where we're not dependent on situations or circumstances in our life. It is inherent within us, and we just need to nurture it. And so I asked you to think about ways that you nurture your well-being, or that you have an intention to do, and to come back this week and share those ideas. So here we go. I got the marker. I got the board. What did you come up with? What ways do you nurture your well-being? Or what ways do you intend to nurture that well-being? Yes, Lynn.
Daily exercise.
Okay, daily exercise. Uh-huh. That's perfect. And Sue Ann, you had your hand up.
I do my daily deal, and that stands for devotion, elimination, ablution, and libation.
D-E-A. I'm not going to write it all out. We'll just have to remember devotion, elimination. Okay. What's the A? Ablution. Okay. Washing. And what's the L? Libation. Okay. Yeah. T. Okay. All right. Very good. Frank.
Waking up and taking vitamin G. G for gratitude.
Oh, there you go. I love how you put that. Vitamin G. Gratitude. All right. What else? Yeah, Dolores.
Being out in nature with intention.
Oh, nature. Being out intention. Okay. Somebody else had that? Yeah, Roshana. Yoga. How many people do yoga here? Oh, a lot. Yeah. I find that very helpful. There was somebody else. Yeah. Karen. Birds. Listening to the birds. Oh, they're so beautiful here in North Carolina, aren't they? Love those cardinals. Yes, Adrian.
Positive affirmations.
You do positive affirmations. Yes. Okay. That's really good. I love that. Can you share one with me? Us?
All is well in my world.
All is well in my world. That's a good one. Okay, a couple more. Yes.
Like acts of service, whether that's, service to others or service.
Uh-huh. Being of service. Okay. Maybe a couple more. Michael. Deep breathing. Yeah. And I love that, the breathing, I used to call it 4 square breathing, the 5 in, 5 out. That's really so calming, isn't it? Breathing. Yes, Brian. A cold shower. That does it for you, huh? That nurtures your well-being. Okay. How cold? As cold as you can get it. Susie. Okay. Well, yes, we all need to have the coffee in the morning to wake up. But after the coffee, then what do you do to nurture your well-being?
I'm using that coffee as nurture, actually.
Okay. All right. Does it help you relax and center? Uh-huh. Yeah, centering with coffee. Okay. It can be. Okay. Sorry, you probably can't even read this now. All right, one more, Bob.
Inquiry into whatever is blocking my path.
Ooh, you do this like self-inquiry. Uh-huh. What's blocking my path? Actually, that's, we're going to be talking a little bit about that right now. So I'm going to just transition into that. Thank you for all of that. And again, I'm going to put this and add it, and we're going to add it on the website. Whoa, we have one more over here. Sorry. Yes, go ahead. Sleeping nurtures your well-being. It sure does. Absolutely. A good sleep, I'll tell you what, there's nothing better in the world. That's right. Thank you. Yeah. Uh-oh. Is there a tornado on the way? Oh, okay, good. All right, so today we are going to focus on some of the obstacles that might be in our path to experiencing this fundamental well-being, right? And one of the major obstacles that this guy, Dr. Martin, says in the book, The Finders, is he calls it the narrative self, which he describes as this kind of chatty, self-critical, self-absorbed, looking for what's wrong, story-based sense of self. And this self, I guess we could call it the barista, now that Nathan introduced us to that, that is this self that's always kind of looking for what's missing, what's wrong. And so it has been with us for so long that we feel like it's kind of part of us. But it's not who we are. It's not. But it has been with us from the very beginning. And in the very beginning, it served as a really helpful problem solver, helping us to find behaviors that got, results. Like even when you were a baby, you kind of figure out that when you smile, it gets your parents' approval. If you pull yourself up to your feet, you can reach that toy that you want on the table. Right? And he says that every time we figure it out, our brain releases these pleasure chemicals into our body that kind of reinforces this notion that it's a good idea to listen to that voice. And it is, right? In the beginning, it is a helpful ally. And it can continue to be in some areas. But as we grow, we begin to crave the results that come with finding the problems and solving it. From being right? The pleasure chemicals get released. And we're kind of off to the races. And that narrative self then begins to look at the other areas in our life where maybe it can begin to solve a problem. And after a while, it's harder to disidentify with this. It becomes part of who we are. It's hard to ignore it. And it feels like it's part of us. And so as this kind of addiction to the pleasure chemicals grows, that narrative self is looking to solve problems. This problem-solving self is looking everywhere, and if it can't find something, it creates it. Let's see, where can I find a problem to solve? I know. How about my lifestyle? Or my appearance. Oh, and you know what could really help me with that? Social media. I'll bet some people can point out to me the things that I can fix about myself. How about my relationships? Oh, I bet I can find some problems there. How about my job? Oh, yes. My workmates? No doubt. I know my children. Oh, let me solve your problems, dear child of mine. I'm guilty of that. And so what once became, what once was this useful thing that served a useful purpose has now run amok. And this narrative self, this problem-solving brain has kind of taken over and become the predominant energy. Right? And now some of you know this by other names. Some of you call it the Committee of Negative Voices. I have heard that. Or the monkey mind. Or I guess we can use barista now. We're going to put that into our vocabulary. Don Miguel Ruiz from the Toltec tradition calls it metote. Or some people refer to it as the Woody Allen brain. That constant worrier, oh my God, what if I said the wrong thing? Oh, what if she thinks I'm an idiot? Oh, God, I knew I was going to forget that thing. Or, oh, the spot, oh my God, what if it's cancer and I died this horrible death? You recognize this, right? But he takes it to an extreme, right, for comedic effect. Like for me, it would be something like, what if no one shows up on Sunday? Or worse, what if I can't get my talk together by Sunday? And so this is the voice that sends us directly to, what do I need to worry about? And I'll keep looking until I find something. And it is preventing us from enjoying our life. It is preventing us from seeing how wonderful our life really is. It's hard to focus on what we're grateful for if we're constantly thinking about what's wrong and what needs to be fixed. It's hard to be in the present moment when that problem solver brain is scanning the past to see what went wrong or the future to see what could go wrong. Right? It is. So what are we gonna do? So he calls this the narrative self because I think because it's sort of the storytelling self. It tells a story. It weaves a story about us that's not really true. And he says in the book, at times it will be your strongest advocate, minimizing your failures and shortcomings and maximizing your success and accomplishments. In other moments, it will do the exact opposite and chastise you for your mistakes and shortcomings. These are incomplete assessment at best and outright fiction at worst. But the voice tries to convince you that it's your only hope for survival and an improvement, which was true when you were little, but it has overstayed its welcome. Yeah. And you know what brings this committee of voices, or the Woody Allen brain, into clear focus? Meditation. Every time we sit in the silence, the moment we sit in the silence, we begin to hear those thoughts, right? Those customers standing at the door wanting one thing or another. That's what we're hearing. It's no longer in the background, it's front and center. This is why a lot of people say, well, I can't meditate. I can't quiet my thoughts. My mind is too busy, it's too active. Well, no. You know, it's not that you can't silence your thoughts, is that you become acutely aware that they're there, maybe for the first time. And sometimes it is kind of this mind drifting thing. Sometimes it's, it's just sort of fantasy thing. But if you pay attention, you might notice that it comes accompanied with judgment. Judgment about, what did I say? What did I miss? What did I do? I should have done this. What did they do? They should have done this. And so it's coming into clear focus. And that is a good thing. That's a good thing. Because when we realize it, boo, it breaks the spell. And now we can do something about it. Now we can address it, you see. So one of the chief characteristics of these people who have, had this profound spiritual awakening, what he calls the finders, is that the narrative self has gone silent. Wow. Right? Imagine. And that's kind of an indication of enlightenment. It's like one of those signposts of enlightenment. It's what brings inner peace, right? That nagging, constant, judgmental, commenting, finding what's missing, finding what needs to be fixed, that voice has gone silent. Ooh, take a deep breath with me. Imagine what it would be like if that went silent. If that's no longer there, or it's so far in the background that it's not that predominant energy anymore. So, this book is kind of a study of these people who have gone through this. And they, reported that not only did their anxiety and stress levels and depression lessen, but it actually evaporated. And they were no longer caught up in that story. And they weren't sort of pushed around by the winds of fate or the swinging emotions. That there was a sense of peace and they could be in the present moment. But I think the thing that really amazes me the most about this is that they report that they feel complete. That there's not this nagging sense of something's missing, something's wrong that I gotta fix, I'm not enough, right? That has vanished and they feel complete. They feel whole. Wow, that's something, I think, to move toward. That's something to nurture. We'll come back here now. That's something to nurture, to work on nurturing. And let's keep that in mind. And also, if I could have the first slide, these are ideas about and gratitude, somebody mentioned that, about quieting, silencing that narrative voice. Consistent practice of proactive gratitude. Focusing on what we're grateful for breaks the spell of the what's wrong brain, all right, and brings us into the present moment. So what do I mean by proactive gratitude? That's when you're not waiting for something amazing to happen in your life to be grateful. you look right now, at this moment, what am I grateful for right now? And just keep looking till you find it. What, maybe it's, I'm breathing, I'm alive. But you start there, right? Look at these gorgeous trees that are all around me. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for these beautiful trees. I'm so grateful for this time. I'm grateful for the people who love. You see what I mean? You go from one and it sparks the next one, it sparks the next one, it sparks the next one, and before you know it, you are in this high vibration state of gratitude. Now you notice I said consistent, right? So we're talking about a consistent practice, not just once in a while. So you want to find a way to schedule this into your day. Really, that's what you have to do. Whether it's your practice upon waking in the morning, coming up with your list of gratitudes. Sometimes before you're falling asleep at night, it's good to think about all of the blessings in your life. In a moment of stress, when you were really stressed, to go, wait a second, let me take a breath. What am I grateful for in this moment? And then you just do it, and it shifts, and suddenly that what's wrong brain begins to be in the background, and you're present in the moment, and you're more fully your true self. Okay, so the next thing is, and the next slide is meditation. All right, well, we talked about this idea of meditation. And again, thank you, Nathan, for doing this meditation. You're kind of identifying any kind of meditation where you identify that there are thoughts there. Yes, okay, I hear them. They're sometimes really loud in the beginning. But that's not who I am. I have thoughts, but I'm not my thoughts. I have a body, but I'm not my body. I am the awareness that's aware of those thoughts, the awareness that's aware of my body. I am the awareness that's aware. I am awareness, pure awareness. I am that universal pure awareness that's aware of it all. And now you've moved into this powerful sense of yourself, and those thoughts just begin to drift away. It's not who you are. You're not attached to them anymore. It's a practice, right? Meditation is a practice. It's not going to happen the first time, but this is why we practice. Okay, the third thing, okay, so I had to explain this. So this week was it was like above and beyond kind of like stress level for me, just like a lot of stuff hit at once. And I felt so overwhelmed. And I remember I was standing in the kitchen, I was feeling this way. And then suddenly this silly song from the 60s popped into my head, and I just started laughing. Do you remember this song, Wooly Bully? Oh, okay. Wooly bully, wooly bully, wooly bully. Watch it now, watch it, here we go. Do you remember? And I just started laughing. It's kind of been with me all week, the Wooly Bully song. Just broke the spell, right? Anything that can break the spell. Just, fun, uplifting music to begin with. Dancing, skipping, humming, whatever. What else? What do you do to kind of break the spell and get steady? Playing with kids, if you got kids, oh my God, you just have to spend a minute with them and, you're in that playful mode. Sandeep, what are you going to say? What's that? Eating. Eating does it for you, okay. What other way can you get playful, Sue Ann?
Well, I just have to remember last night, we were at Abimala's, and there was some great music playing.
Yeah.
It was wonderful music, but my friend and I started doing some very silly dancing to this.
Did you? Okay.
And we were just laughing our heads off doing this dance.
Isn't that wonderful?
Ironic.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Dancing a silly thing with friends. Yeah, okay, so these are some of the ways that we can incorporate into our life when we feel like, you know what? And we got to pay attention, right? It's the knowing, because it can get away from us before we realize it. So we bring ourselves back to the moment. Oh, I'm worrying about something that God, it probably never happened. Or, whatever was in the past is whatever. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm going to be in this moment open to my awareness, what I'm grateful for. I'm going to keep that meditation practice going. And I'm going to get silly in this moment. Whatever works to keep those thoughts, that worry brain in the background. And so we can be and enjoy our fabulous lives, right? And realize that that's what we have. Okay, you ready to do that with me? All right, we're going to practice that this month. Okay, thank you. Namaste.